André-Marie Ampère was born on January 20, 1775 in Lyon, France, to Jean-Jacques Ampère, a prosperous businessman, and Jeanne Antoinette de Sautiers-Sarcey Ampère. He was the second of their three children. His father was a well-educated man with Enlightenment ideas and a follower of Jean-Jacques Rousseau, whose influence would deeply affect André's education. Rousseau's beliefs in learning directly from nature and experiences guided the way Jean-Jacques educated his son, leading to an unconventional upbringing. From an early age, André showed a strong aptitude for mathematics and science, despite not having a formal education. He was a voracious reader, consuming all the books in his father's library by the age of 12. He learned Latin so he could read Euler and Bernoulli in the original. His father encouraged his curiosity and provided him with extensive resources to support his education. The French Revolution profoundly affected the Ampère family. In 1793, during the Reign of Terror, Jean-Jacques Ampère, who was a supporter of Girondins, was executed. This tragedy deeply impacted André, causing him to abandon his studies temporarily and retreat into a period of mourning and self-reflection. After overcoming his grief, Ampère resumed his studies with renewed vigor. In 1797, he began teaching mathematics in Lyon and soon earned a reputation for his brilliance. During this period, he also delved into other subjects such as chemistry, philosophy, and metaphysics. He married Julie Caron in 1799 and they had a son, Jean-Jacques Ampère, who would later become a noted historian and philologist. In 1801, Ampère moved to Bourg-en-Bresse to take up a position as a professor of physics and chemistry at the École Centrale. He continued his research and writing on mathematics, including a study of probability theory. Unfortunately, Ampère's wife, Julie, died in 1803, a loss that devastated him and left him to care for their young son. To cope with his grief, Ampère threw himself into his work. Ampère's career took a significant leap forward in 1804 when he moved to Paris and secured a position at the École Polytechnique, one of France's most prestigious institutions. Here, he began to develop his theories in mathematics and physics more fully. He was appointed as a professor of mathematics in 1809, and his work began to gain wider recognition. During this time, Ampère published several works on mathematical analysis, including papers on calculus and partial differential equations. His fascination with electromagnetism began in 1820 when he learned of Hans Christian Ørsted's discovery of the magnetic effect of electric currents. Ampère quickly conducted his own experiments and within a week had developed a mathematical theory to describe the relationship between electricity and magnetism, which laid the groundwork for what would later be called electromagnetism. His experiments demonstrated the forces between current carrying conductors, leading to the formation of Ampere's law, which describes the magnetic field generated by an electric current. Ampere's work in electromagnetism marked the beginning of the field of electrodynamics. In September 1820, after hearing a lecture by Ørsted, he immediately started his own investigations into electromagnetism. Within a week, he has presented the first of his many papers on the subject to the French Academy of Sciences. Ampere's contributions were crucial. He was the first to establish the mathematical and physical theory of electrodynamics, effectively founding the discipline. He formulated the principle now known as Ampere's force law, which states that two parallel conductors carrying current will attract or repel each other depending on the direction of the currents. Ampere also discovered that a coil of wire carrying a current behaves like a magnet, which is the fundamental principle behind electromagnetics. In 1827 publication Mémoires sur la théorie mathématique des phénomènes électrodynamiques uniquement déduits d'expérience, which is translated into English as Memoir on the Mathematical Theory of Electrodynamic Phenomena Uniquely Deducted from Experience, is considered one of his most significant works. In this publication, Ampere detailed his theory of electrodynamics, laying down a solid mathematical foundation for the science of electromagnetism. He introduced the idea that the electrical current is the flow of the tiny particles, which we now know as electrons. In the later years of his life, Ampere continued to work on electrodynamics and other scientific endeavors, including work on the theory of light and the study of chemical elements. He also turned his attention to philosophy and theology, reflecting deeply on the metaphysical implications of his scientific work. Ampere was a devout Christian and believed that his discoveries in nature were a way to understand the divine. He spent considerable time writing about the philosophy of science and the relationship between faith and reason. His later years were marked by personal struggles, including financial difficulties and health problems. Despite this, he remained dedicated to his work and continued to be an active member of the scientific community in Paris. André-Marie Ampère died on June 10, 1836 in Marseille, France, at the age of 61. He was buried in the Montmartre cemetery in Paris. His death marked the end of a remarkable life devoted to science and the pursuit of knowledge. Ampere's contributions to science, particularly in the field of electrodynamics, were profound and lasting. His name was immortalized in the term ampere, the standard unit of electric current, established in 1881 by the International Exposition of Electricity. His work laid the groundwork for later scientists such as Michael Faraday, James Clerk Maxwell, and others who would build on his theories to develop the modern understanding of electromagnetism. Jean-Jacques Ampère went on to become a renowned historian and philologist, further cementing the Ampère legacy in the annals of intellectual history. Today, André-Marie Ampère is remembered as one of the key figures in the development of physics, a pioneer who helped shape the modern understanding of electricity and magnetism. His work remains a testament to the power of curiosity, dedication, and the pursuit of knowledge.